Jason Terry, good defense. Wade from behind takes it away. Chalmers, pull, James! Whoa!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Run the Break podcast. I am your host. I am the point guard, the wise brother, A.R. Jones, a.k.a. Big Baby. To my right, we have the head coach. the people's champ.
Is Coach Sims' clipboard.
Yeah. People's champ, Randy. What's going on, brother?
Man. I mean, listen, man. The NBA is damn sure back. They said, listen, we can't let wrestling take all the good fun and the NFL and shit. We got to get back into this, into the conversation because with WWE becoming, very white hot right now and wrestling in this hole and the NFL going for the Super Bowl right now and hip hop, especially on the West Coast, has had a great year. NBA is like, all right, it's time for us to stop being mediocre. We need to shake some things up, and yeah, man.
Add some razzle dazzle real quick.
Yeah, it's like let me put a little pizzazz on this shit real quick and kind of fuck up the algorithm. So we kind of needed that.
Yeah, we definitely did. We definitely did. The trade deadline, the last 24 hours, 48 hours has been bananas. We'll get to two of the biggest trades in a moment. But for yourself as a New York Knicks fan, were you expecting a deal to come out of New York outside of obviously the Jericho Sims thing, which seemed like more of a salary dump than anything?
No, I mean, it was the Jericho Sims thing was more linear and to get Jericho more playing time elsewhere. I think because of the fact that the last couple of games they've been prioritizing area hook 40 off the bench, and he's provided a positive, from the defensive end, everything that you kind of needed, Sims to be. Hook Porty is kind of like, okay, he already has, that intangibles. Not to say Sims didn't have it. He's a different type of player in a different type of system. I think he would be more profitable or more preferable elsewhere. Like the Bucks, I think a team like Milwaukee can use him depending on how they use a pick and roll and utilize that kind of system more than Tibbs's read and react motion offense system that he has here in New York. Outside of that, I think they already have I will say from the Knicks standpoint, Mitchell Robinson is the acquisition. Because now that he is back and he is basically getting himself back into shape, he's cleared to take contact and practice, and he's also slimmed down some. Because I think part of the reason why Mitch has been getting those lower leg injuries is because of the fact that he was kind of overweight. When he had that year where he played 72 games, he put on the weight to prevent those injuries, but the next season he came out of shape. And he he bit the bullet with that. I think and it goes with a lot of players too. Is like when you're out of shape. Basketball shape, it is going to affect you when you try to get into game shape in order to do a job that you're getting paid millions of dollars for. So, obviously we're going to get to that with Luka because that's going to be a running theme. And last year when Mitch came back, I wouldn't say it was his fault that he got hurt. Embiid legit grabbed his ankle, game 3 of that series when he had the 50 piece against us. Like it changed the trajectory. Like he came back, ankle was good, and then he just re-aggravated it with Embiid holding that ankle and falling on the ankle. So it wasn't the fact that he got himself hurt this time around. The setback was more so because you're out of shape, right? We got to get you right to make sure that your body is good enough. So we don't want to rush you back and say December, and then you have a setback that's going to give you, time away from the team. We want to make sure that you're 100%. So he trimmed down. At most, he's probably 280. He looks about 265 at best, which is kind of where you need him for now. And then, find a happy medium in the offseason in terms of where you need him to be. A la Embiid right now. You need to be at a certain, weight in order to basically handle the physicality. Like, try to find a happy medium in terms of, like, what is a good playing weight for you and go from there. Outside of that, I didn't think they were going to make any crazy moves because their biggest moves happened in the offseason by getting Cat and Mikal Bridges. Their window is 3 to 4 years. Now, to shore up their bench, it was tight because they're in the second apron. No matter what move you would make, people say, well, trade Mitchell Robinson, but because right now his value is so low, no one was going to bite on his services, regardless of how great he is. It's going to be tough to, bite on
injured
because he's not injury prone and his value is low. He hasn't shown you a good stretch of meaningful basketball where he hasn't gotten hurt. So you're like, okay, there's his value. We can basically sell high like the Knicks did with Randall and DiVincenzo. So when it comes to that, and I love Mitch too, and I want Mitch to be a Nick lifer, but obviously, have we seen, for Luka Doncic, anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. So it's just like, but the fact that he is still here past the deadline, which makes me think that Tibbs does value Mitch on the team. And he basically plugs up a major glaring hole that we have on the defensive end, and that's the interior defense. Because at times our interior defense, especially on drop coverage, it's mostly because of the fact that from the point of attack, it's easier to penetrate the lane and not have good rim protection to kind of scare away those guys. Now that you have Mitch back, it puts everybody back defensively, at least from a team defense concept, into their proper positions. And I know Tibbs is going to experiment what they did with Minnesota because in a lot of ways, Mitch is more valuable and better at certain things that he does better than Rudy Gobert. Like Rudy is good in terms of being on ball and being a weak side help defender, but Mitch can guard, offensive rebound, create space.
Gobert is no good on ball, as a matter of fact.
That's what I'm saying. Like Mitch has proven.
Yeah,
you've seen what he did. Like he had to make basically Jared Allen and Evan Mobley be like, all right, now we ready for you guys now. Now with a Mitchell Robinson back, that can also be your answer towards a team like Cleveland. That could be your answer towards a team like Boston. Now, you have about, I think after next week, it's about 24 games after the All-Star break. Use that time to kind of get Mitch acclimated into it and use it in 5-game fragments because this is around the time, of course, of the season where teams are starting to ramp up, especially playoff contending teams. This is when they're starting to ramp up, where they need to be ready for the playoffs. This is where you start seeing them put in different wrinkles of the offense or different defensive schemes in because of what they learned throughout the season. Tibbs has always been a read and react kind of individual and use what he learned from the regular season and try to apply it to the playoffs. With a Mitchell Robinson back, I think this gives him enough depth in terms of coming off the bench because at least it puts everybody else in their proper positions if you're going to play a legit 9-man rotation. Because you don't need necessarily Precious to play the 5 when you can play a very serviceable 4 who can guard, basically every position at 6'8". So now you can have a switchable offense and you can use switching depending on which lines because at least with that second unit, Deuce can guard, Cam Payne is a scrappy guard, and then one of those starters, like let's say between OG or Mikal, they can guard their guys. So when you switch between those guys in the lineup, it gives them an opportunity to basically help, and it helps Josh Hart too because he's the heart and soul of that team, especially as the starting 4. So no matter how they do those lineups, it's going to basically be beneficial in terms of their Knicks depth, in terms of how they do their rotation. So I'm not surprised they didn't make a move during the All-Star, during the trade deadline because where their minds are set at, all right, we got what we got because we're in the second apron. We got Mitch coming back healthy for once. Let's ride this out, see how this is, and then if the playoffs come through, the records don't matter because it's 0-0. Let's take our chances because it's the best of 16, not the best of 4.
Right.
Because you try to get to the championship. So that's the goal at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. With that being said, I know we have 2 icebreaker questions. I'm going to ask them out of order because
that's fine.
How the trade went. So. The first domino to fall in the free agency, which is what caused the NBA to go into frenzy, is this Luka AD trade, which I'll start off with that trade. it's a more lateral trade than people are talking about. Yes, Luka is a generational talent. Let's not get that confused. But we please cannot forget that this is Anthony Davis that they traded for. This very same Anthony Davis, yes, he is FMLA All-Star for sure. He may be a PTO champ, not like Embiid, not like Kawhi, but when
He actually
Anthony
wants to
Davis
play.
he wants to play, and when Anthony Davis is on the floor, he's super effective for your team on both sides of the floor. And with this trade to Dallas, this now gives Anthony Davis a chance to play with. It takes a lot more pressure off him because playing in LA, I get it. Like I hate to do this and give him an out or give anybody an out when they leave LA, but playing with LeBron and playing in LA, that's two of the biggest pressures you have as an NBA player. And him going to a smaller market, not a small market, but a smaller market in Dallas, and getting to play his natural position at the four with two very bouncy bigs behind him, with a shooter like Clay, with a point guard like Kyrie, the Dallas Mavericks are dangerous. And the most important thing to Dallas would be their health. I mentioned this on the Your Sports show, and it's very important to know. Yes, Dallas is in, I believe, the 11th right now, right? If I'm not mistaken, they are in 11th place. By the time this drops, they could be in 10th, but they are a playing team that could get to the highest, probably the way the West works. They can get to 5th. And with that being said, on the Lakers side of it, the Lakers now have a chance to mold a generational talent with one of the greatest talents of all time. With Luka now being taught proper conditioning, how to see the game in a different way, and even more efficient way to get your teammates involved and to make sure you get yours. A way to stay on the court and be healthy. And I think the Lakers, even though they kind of gave up a lot this deadline, they didn't give up too much. They didn't give up too much, but they gave up a lot at this deadline, and the Lakers got a lot better. And at least for the next decade, you have an all-world talent in Luka that is gonna. He's only 25 years old. Like, he's only 25. So this whole thing about, he's 270 pounds. If I look like that at 270, I'm cool. I'm cool.
Same.
I'm cool with that.
Fat Luka skills, I look like that at 270,
275, 270, bro.
And I bought like that. Like, I agree with Shaq. I'm like, what kind of shape are we talking about here?
What kind of, like, Shaq played almost 400 pounds, and y'all were like,
easy 3-time Finals MVP,
3-time, 3-time Final MVP.
Shaq's like
4-time NBA champ. Come on,
like, I'm gonna give you that 3P, but you're gonna let me rest how I want to rest in the offseason. God it! Like,
the thing about the NBA though too is that we have to understand that this is a new NBA. As much as we want the old NBA where players really worked out, and were, most of these players are Iron Man. We're not in that era anymore, right? And I'm not going to continue to get mad and hold these superstars to that same era and to that same standard that we were holding past stars to, because the NBA is not holding these stars to that same standard, these past stars. All right. They're not. They're just not. So with that being said, the whole, we didn't think, he was in shape and this and the third. He had very old school mentality, and I get it. I understand that. I respect it. But we're in an era where player empowerment is a thing, and all you guys are telling the players to do is to come and play. You're not really telling them to work on the game. You're not really telling them to practice. So for him to come in at whatever shape that he comes into, that's not completely on him. Yes, I put that on him, but also put that on the league and how the league is today. Flip side. Now, on the trade side of it, this was the best way to do the trade. Rob Pelinka fleeced the Mavericks, but he fleeced the Mavericks in the most beautiful way that the Mavericks still got, a couple years prime AD out of it, but the way Rob Pelinka fleeced Nico was insane. You basically told him, listen, you're not going to be able to get the same value from anybody else. Right? If you tell these teams that, yeah, he's not in shape and this and third, listen, I'm really taking the risk here. It's me. I'm taking the risk here. And Nico fell for it. You mean to tell me Max Christie, Anthony Davis, and 1 first-round pick for Luka, Kleber, and Markieff Morris? Yeah, it's more to that than him potentially not wanting to re-sign, which we found out that was a lie, and his weight. But it's not so much the trade itself. It is more how the trade was done in secrecy, in the dark, between two friends and two GMs. With that being said, do you think the NBA's GMs are going to start moving that way, moving forward, to counter the player empowerment movement?
I have so much to say about this because it's crazy, because when the trade went down, you like me thought it was a joke.
Yeah, like we just finished watching Rumble.
Yeah, like
everything cool and copacetic. I got to sleep, getting ready to go on the road the next day.
And then you see that, I'm just like, huh?
What?
Shams get hacked?
Shams get hacked? Nah. Yeah,
he said, nah, it's real. I'm like, why y'all choose the Rumble to drop some crazy ass news about anything NBA? Last time it was surrounded with the Rumble was Kobe's passing. Now is this big ass trade. It always has something to do with the Lakers. But anyway,
it's always the Lakers. Right?
It's always the Lakers. Anyway, there's a multitude of reasons in terms of why this trade happened outside the obvious.
Yeah,
ownership in Dallas. There's a lot of things rumblings going with that city and that franchise currently through ownership. And if what I've heard from, shout out to Jermaine Every, he does a very good job in terms of being tapped in terms of the sports world and stuff like that. But if he is right in terms of what he kind of revealed to me in terms of what's happening with Dallas, it's deeper than whatever they felt about Luka. The NBA really, really is a messed up business. You would have thought that David Stern himself came back alive to do a shrewd business move like this.
Yeah, this was the David Stern playbook all day right here.
A la Seattle, wake the fuck up before they go to Oklahoma City. Right. I'm telling this to the city of Dallas. Wake the fuck up before your team goes to Vegas. That's part one of like why that trade happened. And also blame the city of Dallas because like they came to you and asked like, yo, money is, betting is crazy. You can make more money. Y'all said no. So to be fair, you have your city officials to also blame. On the flip side, something must have happened between Luka and management.
Had to.
And because of that, it severed that little rift between them, and they felt okay. It's easy to just be like, all right, cool, boom, boom, boom. We got to take control because now this is new ownership, and Nico's the holdover from the previous ownership. How are we going to do our job to maximize whatever time we have left with this franchise and this city? Got to trade Luka somewhere, and right now, and I'm no conspiracy theorist, and as much as we like watching wrestling in terms of storyline, when you smell a rat. So let me call let me call one of my buddies in business, and Rob Palenka. Like we had dinner a couple weeks ago, and just said, it'd be funny if, I trade you Luka. It's like, that'll never happen. He calls him up.
Never trade me Luka.
Calls him up a couple weeks, calls him up this week. It's like, yo, you remember when we was at dinner and I was joking and he was like, yeah, like I'll trade you Luka.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
He's like, yeah. How would you feel if I gave you Luka on the low? Because Bron on the way out. Y'all not gonna pay AD. So, what better way to kind of like help each other out and be like, all right, we're trying to win. Y'all trying to prepare for the future.
Mm-hmm.
You scratch my back, I scratch yours. I'll take AD off your hands. I'll take, sometimes Mr. Glass off your hands, and I'll give you out of shape when he wants to come to work, Luka Doncic.
Right.
For discount. He's like, nah, you ain't gonna give that to me for a discount.
Rob is like,
what?
Stop playing with me. As a matter of fact, hey, get off my line. No, I'm serious.
I'm dead ass. Like it's like yo, bro. It's like yo, I'm giving you the friend discount.
And then Rob went into swindle mode.
It's like
he turned into Danny Ainge 2.0. And shout out to Danny Ainge too, because he didn't know he assisted with that trade, which is hilarious. Because the swindler got swindled. Because I'm sure if he would have known that he was helping out with that trade, with his initial trade, he wouldn't have done it.
Fuck Danny Ainge. He got away with shit for too long. So for his like, situation to flip on him when he got away with it, he's like, damn, I didn't know. If I'd known, I would have made an offer. Fuck you. You ain't really gonna do shit. Luka wasn't gonna come to whack ass Utah.
Yeah, Luka wasn't coming to Utah. He did all Danny Ainge did was to muck up the trade, and trade would have been what it was supposed to be. It would have been for market value.
Yeah, it would have been for market value. But the thing about and that's another reason why the trade happened. Because two people who knew each other. Another reason why it happened because of the fact that people's been talking about the fact that the league is dwindling in ratings. What better way to continue the popularity of the NBA by helping once again the golden franchise of the league,
the Los Angeles
Lakers, by saying, listen, your name is synonymous. Mikan, West, Baylor, Chamberlain, Goodrich. Then, of course, you had Norm Nixon, then Magic Johnson, Jamal Wilkes, James Worthy, Kareem, Showtime, Pat Riley, Suits. Then, of course, you had the Nick Van Exel. You had the Lake Show. Then you had Kobe, Shaq. You had those guys. And now you got LeBron. You had AD. So it's like, all right, let's go into this new era with somebody that can definitely help this team for the next 5 to 10 years.
Enter Luka.
And what better person to do it than someone who's already on par to have record shattered, like almost be on par with LeBron, bar for bar.
Bar for bar, and his numbers are not too far off of LeBron's when LeBron was his age.
And you bring that there to play with LeBron while he's still capable.
You give LeBron somebody to mentor who Luka can mirror in so many ways, and you give the Lakers that for a discount, super discount, because they don't have to pay him $350 million.
They saved
$100 and something million, right? Dallas saved some money on that too, plus the additional $6 million that AD did when he declined his trade kicker. So now both teams save money, but the Lakers save over almost $100 million, plus, which will assist them because LeBron has two seasons left on his deal. His deal is 2027. You extend Luka. Luka is extended to maybe around 2030, right? But the key year is that 2027 free agency because next year, I believe Giannis' deal is up 2027. I know for sure the Joker's deal is up in 2027.
You can stop at Joker.
Right. I'm not gonna go no further, but
because you can really stop at Joker because the only person that can
Kevin
lure
Durant's deal.
Kevin Durant can retire. But I'm just talking about like I love KD, but
yeah,
if Luka was gonna hold out for one person going forward, it's going to be one of his closest friends in the league and Joker. That would be unfair for the most part. You could put a wreck team surrounding those guys and they'll make them look good.
Like that.
Just need them two. Oh, that's all you need. It's just those two.
Like Joker already plays at his own pace. Yeah. Joker can play well into his late 30s, playing the pace that he does with Luka, who plays at his own pace. And if they're playing together, you basically have two, at the very least, 25 10-10 players. At the very least.
I don't know how you're gonna guard
20, 10, and 10, right? So how do you guard a team that will, on average, from two players, give you at least 20 assists, which is you're at least responsible for 100 points on 20 assists. At least, right? At the very least. Responsible for 100 points on 20 assists, plus their 20 points. So they're responsible for damn near 140 of your team's points. Those two players.
I gotta boycott that if that ever happens. I can't have them together. It's unfair. Like you thought Durant on the Warriors was unfair. They don't have to basically move much to get anything that they want. They're that gifted.
Yeah.
You don't even need to basically break the bank to surround them. Just pay those two. Everybody else can get paid for scraps. They'll take that team straight to the finals. Doesn't matter who.
Pay those two. Find a way to get up one of those because they don't have their 2027 pick anymore. But find a way to either get your pick back or get one of those picks from Oklahoma City. Right?
Yeah, they got too much.
Find a way to get one of those picks from Oklahoma City or whoever has a 2027 pick, because you want to make sure you're well prepared for 2027. In the event, for whatever reason, Joker is like, you know what? I feel like staying in Denver, which is a 50-50 move, right?
Now it's at least 50-50. So he was like, it's
right, now it's at least 50-50. But before it was, when you look at it now, like, he's not coming to the Lakers. Luka may come to Denver. Right now, 2027 looks a whole lot more appealing to a lot of these stars who are free agents. Like I'm looking at, and we'll speak on the Jimmy Butler thing shortly. Jimmy Butler's deal expires in 2027. Steph Curry's deal expires in 2027. Do you know the bullshit that the Los Angeles Lakers can do in 2027? The amount of discounts people would take to play on a team with Joker and Luka. Like, somebody will Mike Miller, Ray Allen it real quick for the Lakers.
Braun might Ric Flair be like, "I'll never retire.
I'll never retire." Yeah,
like him playing with Luka's like, damn, I'm 40, but like I kind of want to play more because Luka's here.
Right, I'm about 43 at this point. I think I'm gonna continue to play.
I'm like, I'm good. Like,
you know what? I still give you a good 20. Like,
good 20.
I'll give you 25 and 5 at 43 years old. And what you gonna say? Oh man, this man trash. Is man 43 giving you 25 and 5? Shut up.
Yeah, you gotta rethink it. You gotta rethink shit if someone at 40 still giving it to you.
20. Y'all letting LeBron give you 20.
Like,
right. No, I'm not gonna give him. I gonna give him 25. If he giving people 25, 5 and 5 at 43,
yeah,
bruh.
Yeah, whatever you think you're gonna do in your career, yeah, don't even think about
you're not doing that.
You ain't put a dent in what LeBron has done.
Yeah, Luka's not doing that at 43 years old.
No, Luka's probably chilled up. Like I can finally eat and pig the fuck out the way I want to at 43.
Luka might retire by that that year 10 in LA. You're like, you know what?
Joker's gonna be somewhere remote on his farm, just chilling, like with his horses and shit. Like, yeah, I played basketball for a short time in my career. I'm just here with horses and drink beer and just have good shit, fun. Yes,
right. Now, but to the question at hand, is this the perfect way to counter the player empowerment? Or was this just okay, cool. I was about to say, or was this just a trade between two friends? Which I think it was, but I also think it's both.
No, it's both. And that was another thing I was gonna get to too. Like this was a way for the league to kind of reestablish their identity over the players. Like it was their time to reestablish the idea that this is still a business.
Right.
And as much as I love Braun, and much as I love, these other players that came during that period where player empowerment was where it was, it also kind of was also to the detriment because of that, a lot of the players have become entitled.
Yep.
So to shake it up and make sure, like, this is some real shit, someone had to be a sacrificial lamb. Because if it wasn't Luka, it would have been Zion. It would probably might have been Joel Embiid. The way things were going. And in a league that's many fans have been complaining the fact that you're losing ratings and why this and the third, there's so many variables in terms of why. The players are part of it too. As much as people kind of give, the style of play and whatever Allison might have put into the league, the players have to take some accountability as well and realize that they were part of that with the player empowerment.
They
offset because it's one thing. Yes, organizations at times does make decisions that do uproot and upset either the fan base or the players for the benefit of the franchise, and at times they do it without warning. I get that. However, I do feel that in certain modern front offices now are more in tune with their players and more empathetic in terms of how it might impact them, but at the same time, somewhat forgot that this is still a business. Because now, because the players have been more coddled and more entitled, they're putting feelings over business where it should be just business.
I agree.
And Luka is a sacrificial lamb for that, unfortunately. So now it reset. Like Joel Embiid is like, oh shit, now I gotta like take my shit seriously because it's like, if I don't do my job, like they might kick me out of here.
Right. As soon as the Luka trade happened, you saw Joel Embiid and Paul George working out. I'm like, all right. All right.
And the fact that Jimmy was like, you know what? Maybe I will go to Golden State instead of saying I'm not going to go to Golden State after you said like 24 hours before you got traded. Like, I ain't trying to do that shit.
He wasn't that. I don't believe that he wasn't going to Golden State. I think it was more of a, hey, let's agree on the terms before I'd be like, yeah, let's do it. I don't think he didn't. Like, who says they don't want to play with Steph Curry, Kevin Durant? But that's for other reasons. But we'll get into that.
I mean, he kind of played a hand in that. So like
Mm-hmm.
he made his own bed. So however he feels,
Mm-hmm.
you knew what it was when you got there. Don't be surprised why you left. You know, it's like you know what you got yourself in the bed with, and then when it didn't benefit you, Drake, you took your tail and ran.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple. Like great, like phenomenal player. He's MVP. He's an NBA championship 2 times over. He's a gold medalist 4 times over. But let's call a spade a spade. You went to a team that beat you to be comfortable. You felt the 2 championships didn't give you like the validation because you knew what it was. And now that you're in Phoenix, you're settled. You're like, you know what, man? It's kind of late for me to try. And when the last olive branch was extended to you to even do that, you're like, no, because your pride was hurt. KD, bro, like, listen,
but your pride
bro,
wasn't hurt when you went.
your pride wasn't hurt when you went. Like when Draymond pointed it out, like when Draymond caught you, like, yo, he knew you were leaving and called you on your shit. You're like, what the fuck you were supposed to think, dog? Like, you knew what this was. You went there to be a hoe, and they got what they want out of you, and they didn't want you no more. Well,
Yeah,
they
you got what you got from the situation. Like we're gonna keep it a spade. We're gonna keep it a spade a spade. The same thing. Braun went to Miami. Braun got what he needed from the situation in Miami. The only difference between the two is that when Braun got what he needed from the situation, he went elsewhere to show people how to win twice, right? So that whole all LeBron needed Wade to win the championships. Wade assisted on both those championships. Wade was a huge part of those championships. LeBron went elsewhere and got 2 more. Don't know what to tell you. Don't know what to tell you. Yes, everybody can say what they want about them. The whole Big 3 Miami thing, I get it. I even understand it, right? I respect everybody's opinion on it, right? But what you're not going to do is try to overlook what KD did and what KD has been doing ever since. And again, this is not a bash KD show. We both respect, and we both respect Kevin Durant.
I got love for KD,
And,
but it's
but
like
yeah,
you did things in the past that resulted in terms of what your future is today. So you can't necessarily bellyache and cry about it. Like it happened. Like listen, you did what you did. Cool, but at the end of the day, you can't necessarily basically come back to it and be like, okay, be X smug on it. Be like, well, it's on the third. It's like you put yourself in that position, so it's just like
right.
it happens, man.
It happens, and it's okay.
It's
It's
cool.
okay.
It's okay to move on.
Right. Just if you don't want to go back, cool, don't go back. But
That's all you had to say.
The Phoenix Suns also put him in a spot. But that kind of leads into our next topic. The winners and losers of said trade deadline. And we're gonna start.
There was some winners, dog.
We're gonna start with the big trade of Luka and AD, and we're gonna sprinkle our way down. But I'm going to say the long-term winners in the Luka AD deal are the Lakers. The short-term winners are Dallas. In the short term, and Dallas and LA in the short term, right?
Or the current,
LA
as long as they got LeBron, but in the long term, the
Yeah.
Dallas Mavericks are gonna win that trade.
In the long term,
yeah, because they got Luka longer, and you got the other
LA.
guys in Dallas. Oh no, yeah, because
LA guys that win the long term.
No. LA's gonna win in long term, but in terms of like Dallas right now,
short term Dallas.
The short term is Dallas because of the fact that their big 3 is in the 30s, especially their early 30s.
Yeah. Efficient. Still efficient.
Oh yeah.
Now this next trade, very near and dear to my heart, of course, but Jimmy Butler, that saga finished up in Miami. It was for people who don't understand, it was more than just a month or 2 months. This has been kind of rocky for the last couple years when Jimmy Butler has asked continuously for more help, and he hasn't got it.
Yeah.
And that's what people are forgetting. But again, if a player asks for help, he's crying. He has to deal with it. But not here for that. The trade happened exactly what I thought was going to happen when I said it in the chat. Wiggins for Butler, and then the other pieces had to happen, which they ended up doing. Miami ended up getting Kyle Anderson and a couple other pieces, and pieces were flying everywhere. The Warriors have an old three. 37-year-old Steph, 35-year-old Jimmy, 35-year-old Draymond. With that being said, the Warriors are currently near the bottom of the standings as well, just like Dallas is. Can Jimmy help turn this season around, at least keep them in play-in contention? Or is this a next year move?
They're gonna be in playing. They'll be in playing contention. Like like the Warriors. Steve Kerr at this point has earned enough merit as a coach to will a team to a play-in tournament. I think he still has enough talent with a Steph Curry, Draymond, if healthy, to lead that team to the play-in. The surrounding cast of that team needs a lot of work. Like, this is obviously it's a next year move, but for this year to salvage and actually be in the playoffs, I think they could probably sneak a spot, but you have to remember the Spurs got better. The Suns, despite the drama, might make a run if they get it together, especially Kevin Durant, if he has his head on straight the way he plays. That they could still be a viable threat. I know Jimmy's gonna go scorched earth. I'm not gonna hold it against him. He's probably gonna go scorched earth the rest of the way to will this Warriors team, because I've seen him do it in Minnesota. He's done it in Chicago. He's done it in Miami. But anything outside of that for this season, this move was more so for next season. Whatever they surround the Warriors with next season with that older core, we'll see. But it's not for this year because they ain't gonna do shit this year.
I don't think it's gonna do anything for them this year either. And on the other side of that trade, Miami, what does this do for Miami?
Flexibility. I think the Heat with this trade, they got value for Jimmy, which is what many people in Dallas wish they got more so for Luka. But you got AD, so that might be valuable enough. But for Pat Riley, he's never been the person to rebuild. He's always a retooler. He'll go through bad seasons with the team and go down with that ship, but he's never gonna basically come out and say flat out like, "Yo, I'm trying to tank." Like he's never been the one to tank. He's gonna try to put the best team in front of him to make the playoffs and or contend every single season. He's on year 30 with the Heat right now. 30 years with this franchise. You missed the playoffs a handful of times in his presence. 2002, 2003, 2007. I think 2017, 2015. 2019. Like it's less than just barely two hands the amount of times he's missed the playoffs in 30 years. And you've been to 6 NBA finals if you won 3. So you won 50% of your finals appearances. So for Pat Riley, he's not one to basically say, yeah, I'm for that tanking. He's got enough value with getting Kyle Anderson, getting an Andrew Wiggins, who even at this stage of his career can be serviceable for Miami in terms of where they're going now. Miami wants to be a playoff team and compete in the Eastern Conference this year, and if this is their way to do it, they're going to be a tough out because of what they have in Wiggins. Kyle Anderson is a very serviceable player, which could basically be, effective in a Eric Spoelstra led team, and they got some quality players, albeit older, but they're good enough to basically help a team get into the playoffs, even though they might be in a play-in borderline. But I think I do see him getting a playoff spot and being one of those annoying teams you got to basically get out in the playoffs. This is a nice haul. So for whatever plans in the offseason that Pat Riley chooses to do, he'll use those pieces he got from the trade this year to figure out what better way to retool the team next year. Because obviously now it's Bam and Tyler Hero that they're focusing on, and of course Khalil Ware, who's become a very good piece for you guys.
Very, very good piece. Better than what people thought he was. But when he got drafted, I was like,
no. I knew y'all had him because the Knicks had him on the radar in case if we lost Hartenstein, which we did eventually. But we had him on the radar. But Miami traded up to get him, so Pat was proactive because they knew. Pat knew. He's like, I can't let them Knicks get it because if he gets it, it's over. Nah, but because he can shoot the three, he can block shots. He's definitely what you need in terms of moving forward. And if you could slide Bam to the 4 and use him, in that position, you have a better vision of
playmaking 4.
You could definitely have a better way of mapping out that starting lineup for that team, and then rediscovering that identity. They have the coach. Eric Spoelstra is a great coach. He can make lemons out of lemonade. So lemonade out of lemons, excuse me. But he's the type of person to definitely take basically what Tibbs does as well. They're part of that ilk where it's like, you give me something, I'm going to get the most out of them, and that's what I think Spoelstra will do with this unit coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever happens coming in the coming years for that team, because now Trae Young might be someone that's on the move. What if you can get a franchise point guard still in his prime with a team that he might not see eye to eye with? So I think Pat Riley does have an idea now with this move. There's going to be another disgruntled star that's willing to leave. And if I'm Miami, I'm not looking for a wing. You have a good big. You have a couple good guys in Tyler Hero. And you got Bam and
wings. You can find wings everywhere.
You can find wings anywhere. But now, let's see if you can combat that by finding your franchise point guard.
Mm-hmm.
As much as obviously, Trae Young is a villain, this and the third as a Knicks fan, yada. Trae Young is a person that I would say, if you better not let the Magic get him with what they have.
Right. Imagine, this is one of the things. This is just a Knicks Miami type of thing, right? Yeah. Imagine he goes to Miami with Pat Riley.
Oh.
And Pat Riley's like, you know what?
Oh, that rivalry's back on.
The rivalry is real. The rivalry is real.
Yeah.
Yeah. That rivalry was something else for real.
Yeah. We back.
And we back. And then the thing about the Miami trade is that they are slowly but surely freeing up money.
That's what I'm saying.
Because you don't have to re-sign Jimmy, or you're not stuck with Jimmy's $53 million contract extension, right? Mm-hmm. You're also about to come off of Duncan Robinson's outrageous contract really, really soon, within the next year or so, right? So you have money. You already locked in Bam. You already locked in Tyler. So now it's the pieces around you. So when you say, hey, we're looking for disgruntled employees, there will be a bunch. There will be a bunch, right? A lot of people who feel like they should be paid won't get paid this summer. Next, the summer of 2027, they probably will. People will be overpaid. But the person who won't be overpaying people is Pat Riley, for sure. I mean, he overpaid Duncan Robinson. But whoever it was, I don't know who his management team is, but they pulled one over Pat Riley. But I'm surprised Duncan Robinson ain't going that trade too. But
I'm surprised too. I'm surprised that didn't happen.
Bro, I'm so surprised. I'm like, yo, y'all really not getting rid of Duncan Robinson at all?
I see. I was waiting for because I thought you guys were getting Lonzo Ball in the trade because I heard his name was in the trade talks too. Because I was like, yo, damn, if y'all had him, that would have been crazy.
Yeah, Alonzo would have been nice with
Lonzo would have been good with
Tyler
that
Hero.
lineup. But that's why I say like Trae Young now, because Trae Young is exactly what Pat Riley would need right now for Miami. Like taking my bias or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking completely objective. I'm talking just straight hoop. Like in terms
Yeah,
of if I'm Pat Riley, getting a Trae Young is something that you would need because now you get not just get a playmaker who can shoot, has a threat of shooting. He clearly wants to win and has a chip on his shoulder.
Yep.
You get him on a Miami, it's up. Like the East is like, okay, it ain't easy. Like it really ain't gonna be easy. Like obviously this year is more so in terms of health, but going into next season, assuming all health is knock on wood good.
Right.
A Miami Heat team with a Trae Young, can you imagine it? Like think about
the East is not sweet.
The East is not sweet. Like even Detroit's starting to get their shit up. Like come on, now, like the East ain't sweet.
Detroit damn near they took the number 1 team in the league. The number 2 team in the league, arguably the number 1 team, in the Cleveland Cavaliers, down to the limit to where they needed a 3-point heave at the end of the game. Like, come on, guys! Like, gotta look at Detroit too.
It's crazy because it took who's on the bench of that team right now. The coach they fired. And it's crazy because everybody's like, well, Cleveland is at the third. I'm like, no, Cleveland is great. As much as credit I would like to give to Kenny Atkinson.
Yes, my guy. I love Kenny Atkinson.
I love Kenny. Not taking anything away from his success. It's the Mark Jackson, Steve Kerr effect.
Yeah.
JB Bickerstaff built that team.
He put them in place.
He put them in place the same way in record time. Put the Pistons in place. Mind you, Monty Williams was a coach that went to the finals. And JB Bickerstaff put them in much better place in record time than Monty. But I don't think Monty wanted that job anyway.
I don't think Monty wanted the job anyway. I think I don't think he wanted to leave the Suns to begin with, but he needed to get up out of there.
DeAndre Ayton cost him a job.
DeAndre Ayton definitely cost him a job, and look where DeAndre Ayton is at now. See, karma is crazy. Bum.
Coming off the bench for Donovan Clingan in Portland.
Right. You
coming 14 and 10. I'm like, that's crazy. Like, how you coming off the bench for a young one, and you went to the finals to the starting big, and you were the number 1 overall pick in 2018. You a bum.
And this is how you know, and this is what's going to happen. That 2027 market is going to be sick because I believe DeAndre Ayton is one of those other players that may or may not be available in 2027. And because his value is so low, you can see him going to a team that should not get him. Like, he can go to like an Oklahoma City Thunder for the low, and people are going to be like, huh?
I'd be mad. I would be tight. I'm like, how the fuck you get your non-competing having ass to the Oklahoma City Thunder just being the most inconsistent version of Roy Hibbert ever, just to hop on their bandwagon? Get the fuck up out of here.
Right, and then play decent. If he averages 14 and 10 on the Oklahoma City Thunder, because Chet averages 16 and 9, right? And Chet is only getting better. So imagine.
They got all them goddamn picks. That is cheating.
Bro, they can get Cooper Flag next year, bro.
If they want. Like, that's the fucked up part.
They could probably get Cooper Flag, and it's going to, like, what do we do? Like, first, shout out to Sam Presti.
Sam Presti's a real one, man. He know how to manipulate the algorithm, bro.
Manipulate the fuck out the algorithm.
Like, the nigga set himself up for a decade and a half with all them picks.
And if you can't pay everybody, fuck it. I got draft picks. I'm like,
and he gets them back. I'm like, who keeps giving him these draft picks?
Right. Why do y'all keep giving him these draft picks?
Trade with him, son.
And you know what happened? It was he got all these draft picks, whatever, where everybody wanted to be so good, so quick, that dumbass Paul George deal came back to bite them in the ass, for sure.
And he kept collecting. He's like, "Oh, Russ want to leave? Bet all the first from Houston. Oh,
okay.
Chris Paul going here? No. Oh, yo, Phoenix, give me some of y'all first.
Okay.
Like how? Like how do you like? Sam Presti is the master fleecer, and if the Sixers fuck up this season, they get their pick.
Like,
and it's top 7 protected. I'm like, how?
Like, think about it. Like, if the Sixers really don't get their shit right, you are potentially giving them a chance at a generational player at Cooper Cup. Not saying like that pick is top 7 protected, right? But trade up. Keep trading up.
If that shit lands in the top 3 in the lottery, just for shits and giggles, shit lands in the top 3 and the Thunder get it. I would be mad if they get Ace Bailey, if they get Ron Harper's boy. I'm like, how?
Bro, I'm looking like
you still gotta pay J-Dub both of them, and then you got Hart. Like, yo, bro, like how?
You got Hartenstein that you already locked in. You got Caruso, you're already locked in. Listen, if you want, I'll fuck with Dort. If you want to give up Dort and move up to that number 1, number 2 pick, dog. Like Oklahoma City, they didn't have to do anything. This trade
they can push the button if they wanted to.
They have 3 bigs now. Oklahoma City with Tice, Hartenstein, and Tice got traded there too for nothing.
Yo, bro, like like Sam Presti was like, yo, y'all thought I fumbled with KD, Russ, and Paul George and what was left of Melo's career. Watch this.
Look at them niggas now.
Look at them niggas now. This is what I turned them into. I turned them into Chet, Isaiah Hartenstein, Daniel Tice, Alex Caruso, SGA, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, J-Dub.
You don't got nothing to say to me. Y'all can't say shit to me. You're right. You're absolutely right. I can't say not again.
With some heart. Like, I'm like, yo, this is some crazy ass shit. Like, right. and shout out to Mark Dagnall, man. You should be in contention for Coach of the Year, but I know it's definitely going to Kenny Atkinson.
Yeah, you definitely. Nah, he needs to get it though. He needs to get it, but he's
definitely getting it.
But the next trade I want to talk about, well deserved. Next trade I want to talk about is another West Coast trade, which I thought, and because it continues on into another West Coast trade, the Spurs getting De'Aaron Fox.
Another team preparing for the future.
Hey, the Spurs getting De'Aaron Fox and the Bulls going to Sacramento. I mean, I'm sorry, Zach LaVine going to Sacramento. Coming back and playing with Debo and Sabonis.
That was a
and now move. and listen, and then another trade that happened where they got Valanciunas. So you're telling me all Sacramento needs is a point guard. All they need is a point guard. 2 scoring wings. Malik Monk could come off the bench if need be. You still got I forget his name.
Keegan Murray.
You still got Keegan Murray. Yeah, kept Sabonis.
They still got Keon Ellis, right? No, they got Keon Ellis. So they got pieces. Just put Monk. Just start Monk for now, and then like if you get on the buyout market, like I mean,
Marcus Smart. Go get Marcus Smart. Like,
that will fuck up some shit. Like,
go get Marcus Smart.
That means the bottom of the West will really be a battle royal for real. Like that would be the real Royal Rumble. Like who's trying to get the 7 through 10 spots? Like that's a Royal Rumble matchup right there between Sacramento, Phoenix, Golden State, Dallas, San Antonio. Those teams. So that's gonna be a dogfight.
Right, but that trade, wow, De'Aaron Fox going to the Spurs. So basically, here's how the trade went.
And they was going to get Trae Young, too. That's crazy.
Imagine, bro. 3-team trade. LaVine to the Kings. Fox to the Spurs. The Spurs also got Jordan McLaughlin. The Kings set City, Casico, and some draft picks. 3 future first-rounders and 3 future second-rounders. Oh, that's what the Kings got. The 2025, 27, and 31 first round picks, and 25, 27, 25, and 228 second round picks. The Bulls get Zach Collins, which I think with them losing, they still have Vooch. So with them getting Zach Collins, that actually kind of helps them. Trey Jones really helps them at point guard. Kevin Herter and a 2025 first round pick. So the Bulls didn't really get bad out of this pick. They didn't really lose too much out of this outside of losing Levine because they're already in rebuild mode. And then they extended Lonzo. But the biggest part of this, De'Aaron Fox and Wemby, and you get to learn from Chris Paul, and you get to learn from Pop, and they got to keep all of their other pieces. The Spurs look scary on paper.
Greg Popovich is going to be happy to come back and coach.
He's going to be like, woo, 20 more years. Like,
he's like till he's 90.
Right. I will not die.
Like, like Pop just woke up and was like, oh, word? This for me? Word?
Shouldn't have.
Say, oh man, it's like y'all so nice to me. I'm gonna come back and coach it. Once again, another generational talent, and I got some pieces. I got what? I got a squad now. That means I actually got to work again and coach for real. Us cook for everybody else.
Oh yeah, it's definitely cooked for everybody else. As a matter of fact, we're not going to win it next year because we only win championships in odd number years. So we're going to win it in 2027. Everybody wants to become everybody wants to become a free agent. We're going to win it in 2027. We ain't going to win it this year. And if by hook or crook they find a way into the playoffs, I don't know, bro. I like De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox had 23 and 13 on his debut, playing with Wemby. So
I ain't gonna hold you, man. Like if they happen to make it as an 8th seed and face off against the Thunder in round 1, I'm gonna be glued to watching that series.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be a really good series.
Like, bro, to see like Wemby against Chet.
The only thing about that is that edge goes to OKC because of they're not even because of Shea. They have 3 legit centers on OKC that can all take turns playing against Wemby versus the Spurs that has to play Wemby 48 minutes. So
yeah.
But what would you grade that trade by the Spurs?
For the Spurs themselves, they get an A because they're building themselves for the future and the present. De'Aaron Fox is the present. You get a star that's in his prime. You coming in and you got Stephon Castle, who's definitely one of their young players who you can definitely groom on the way. Wemby, obviously, still young in his infancy stages as a player in his career, and you have a mentor in Chris Paul who can teach you the ins and outs of a game, especially if you're willing to bring this team to the playoffs. And to have that mentorship, you kind of like have a third coach on the floor with Chris Paul because outside of Popovich and whoever's their current coach right now in place of Pop, he's another coach on that floor. So you have a person that's willing to basically give you a way to navigate and manage the game how you want it, get the players in position. And I think they have a good opportunity to really make the final push of the season to be beneficial for them. So this last third of the year for them is going to be fun. And if they manage to get within one of those playing spots and happen to make the top 8 and they face Oklahoma City, that is a box office matchup that fans are going to want to see. For the Kings, I can say that they've gotten good. I mean, I wouldn't say it was good for them to get off a contract that wasn't necessarily thinking about giving him because he already denied
Mm-hmm.
twice. So it's like, okay, if you're on the fence of not committing, might as well just trade you for the value, and they got some decent value back.
Yeah.
Now, whether they get a point guard via buyout or draft, because now the draft, they're not looking necessarily into the lottery anymore. Most of the impact players come from the middle of the first round into parts of the second. So they're looking for those gems that can basically be more coachable players other than the stars other than the lottery.
Right.
I guess they're in a good situation, and for Doug Christie, this gives him an opportunity to see what kind of team he wants to have moving forward with with a team filled with veterans. Do I think they're going to be a playoff team? It could happen because you still got Sabonis, you still got Malik Monk, you still got Debo, you still got Zach LaVine, who for the first time since leaving Chicago could be a good offensive threat with that team because you have guys at least from 1 through 5, essentially can actually score the ball very, very well. Because Valanciunas is there now 5. So they got guys who can score anywhere between 13 points up to 20, 30 points a night. So I think from that standpoint, from the starting perspective, I think they got okay. But, I'm not sure what their future is going to hold, but who knows? But I do know that, they did, at least they did De'Aaron right by where he wanted to go, and they did business. They conducted business, and kept it without any type of mess, any type of drama. It's like, oh,
they give it.
He said, you want to go there? Cool. I'm gonna help you out and do that with you.
Cool. So thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service, and it's a business. We got love for you, and we hope with everything, second and third. Thank you for your service.
Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Yeah. So, Spurs got better, and I just can't wait to see because a lot of these picks and these trades are in the best mind for the future, and I kind of like that. And it kind of puts organizations back into the seat of we're trying to prepare for not just for your timeline as a player, but where our timeline is as a franchise. So it's good to see the franchises, this trading deadline kind of like get back their power a little bit.
Yeah. And again, I keep going back to 2027 because I didn't see many 2026 picks floating around. Please remember, these 26 and 27 picks can either be, sons of former NBA players, as in the Boozer twins can come out.
Elijah Arenas.
Elijah can come out.
Cheyenne Anthony.
It is a bevy of young, future, hungry talent that have NBA blood running through them already, and that's why I didn't like these teams being so willy-nilly. Take a first rounder. But for those young players, I like it for them because now they can go into a great situation like an Oklahoma City Thunder who has an established culture there to where it's like, all right, we know how to develop players. Westbrook, KD, Harden. We develop them. Look at them, 3 of the greatest players of their generation. So, and we have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at the moment. You have Chet coming up. We are building monsters in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City is not a sexy destination, but if you want to become a good basketball player, you might want to go to Oklahoma City as a young kid. So, as I mentioned, Daniel Theis, he went from New Orleans with a 2031 second round pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder for cash considerations. That just helped the Pelicans out with luxury tax things. But the Pels, that's not the only deal they did. They traded Brandon Ingram to the Toronto Raptors for Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, a first round and a second round pick, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So Toronto kind of, making a little bit of moves there. I think having R.J. Barrett, Scotty Barnes, and now Brandon Ingram, that's a good solid three to build around.
Yeah, no, I mean, don't forget about quickness. They're starting point guard too. So I think in terms of their lineup, Toronto did another move. A lot of these teams did moves for decent fits. I'm not saying it's the perfect fit for each team, but they made a move. And I think that teams and organizations that are making moves with this deadline are making it with the intent of basically going. It's giving them the emphasis to go for it again. Because years ago, like during the time when LeBron, the Big Three era, the Warriors era, where these super teams were being formed, it was more so at the player's discretion and not the discretion of the franchise. Mm-hmm. So GMs can finally be GMs again and be like, okay, I think I see a piece here that could help our team rather than just, I consulted with my star and we're getting him what he wants. No, it's like, no, we want, we're seeing what we could see with this organization. We'll consult with our star and see what that person might think. It is at the third, but at the end of the day, the organization has to make the move that's best for the organization because they're the ones that are funding the money to run the organization, and they have to acquiesce to the CFO who happens to be the owner of the team. So this was a good move for Toronto. Masai Ujiri is always done a great job in terms of making moves that can benefit a team. So I usually trust his judgment. He didn't normally go for his normal fleecing in terms of a deal, but he did. He did it just enough where he got enough compensation.
He didn't fleece at all. I ain't gonna lie, he didn't fleece at all. This was actually a pretty nice trade.
Because normally, like Ujiri was a master fleecer. His biggest fleece ended up getting Joker for the Nuggets before he left. So
bro, if he was really fleecing, bro, he would have got Brandon Ingram and Zion for whatever that they traded for. It probably would have been for like Brandon Ingram and Zion for like 2 first rounders and a cup of soda, like and they're getting money back from New Orleans to sign them all. Like that's the type of shit Masai Ujiri does. But he didn't. This was a fairly calm trade.
That would have pissed me off if he did it, though.
Oh, yeah, that pissed me off, too.
I would have been mad. How
the fuck, bro? Like,
I would have been tight.
But 2 more trades to talk about. One of them involves the Lakers again. But the first trade we're going to talk about before we move on to All-Star is the Milwaukee Bucks, led by their fearless leader, Doc Rivers. Yay. They traded Chris Middleton for Kyle Kuzma. The other pieces really don't really matter in this because one of the other pieces ended up getting flipped for Kevin Porter. But so now Milwaukee has Kevin Porter and Kyle Kuzma. But I want to focus more on the Kyle Kuzma part. They get a young wing versus having a wing who is very much injury prone. Kyle Kuzma was part of the Lakers championship, and him being a third option, I think, is the best option for him because even though his shooting numbers are horrendous in Washington, that is because you are the number 1.5 option at this moment. Number 1A and 1B option in Washington with Jordan Poole. So now that you are now back to playing behind a superstar, now playing behind 2 superstars, shots are now more open for you. You don't have to force shots. You really don't even have to have the ball in your hands to be as effective as you need to be. You just need to be open and be, efficient when you get the ball. You don't even got to do too much. Now, what do you think about that trade?
It's about time that Kyle Kuzma got out of purgatory. I think
his
that.
anyway.
I mean, no. I mean, part of it was his fault, but at the same time, I'm glad he got out of purgatory because he's better than what the last 4.5 years in Washington have led on. Because there should be no reason that someone of that caliber, he was a championship player on the Lakers. Like he hit he made some big plays in that postseason that gave the Lakers an opportunity to make it to the NBA Finals. Like a lot of that run doesn't happen without his contributions. And the season after, like he was really on the threshold of really becoming that third piece between him and AD before AD got hurt, and then Solomon Hill basically gave us, basically injured LeBron, and the rest was history from there. Like Bron never had a successfully healthy season ever again because of Solomon Hill playing Bush League defense. But neither here nor there. But he's a guy that on a cool night with a team with capable scorers can give you cool 18 points a night, easy, efficiently, if you want him to. I know defensively is something that you're gonna, demand more of him because he's a 6'9" wing. Yeah. And within the team concept, I think he's capable of doing that. It's just a matter of, you got to play the team defense. He's not going to be a person like a specialist like Middleton was when he's able to be a 3-and-D wing who can lock up and basically score the ball and shoot the three.
Yep.
Kuzma can definitely be a capable scorer. He can shoot the three. He can do different things on the floor. So he can score all levels. He can shoot the three. He can get to the paint. He can post up. He can score on many levels. I think what the Bucks going to need from him is more so energy, effort, and consistent scoring when the Bucks need it in pinches. Dame and you already know you're going to get an easy 60 between Dame and Giannis. We just need him to basically score. Give me at least cool 15 to 17 a night on efficient shooting, right around 50%. Not asking for much, as long as it's above 45%. Knock down at least about 37% of your 3-point shots. Make 80% of your free throws at that. These are just minimum general numbers. And you defend your player, at least, hold them to at least about 44, 43% shooting in terms of your opponent, or help a team get to that percentage every night. I think the Bucks have an opportunity, to turn their season around, especially because I know that now they're fifth. Their problem is not necessarily scoring the ball.
Problem with Doc Rivers.
And it's also Doc Rivers. But, getting a guy like Kyle Kuzma can definitely help that team. And Doc, regardless of his problems.
They should trade him at the deadline. They should release him now. They should be like, all right, we're gonna sign somebody who's been working with us on the side.
Man, so, if trading coaches was a thing, I would have traded to the free agency pool and got back Adrian Griffin.
Right. It is a thing. It's just like it's not as publicized as much because I believe Doc was part of an actual trade, if I'm not mistaken. There's been a few. Yeah. There's been a few coaches traded, but
doesn't happen often.
It doesn't happen often.
Doc was just the last one.
Yeah, he deserved it too, but. I think the Bucks did get better. I think with them getting Kevin Porter as well, also now takes a lot more pressure off of Kyle Kuzma, but it also puts pressure on Kevin Porter because of Kevin Porter's past activities. I do think this is his chance to kind of be on a team with somewhat of a winning culture. Somewhat, I'm saying, because Coach Bud kind of established the culture there. Jason Kidd started it. Coach Bud established it. Adrian Griffin was trying to move it forward. Doc Rivers is now just there doing whatever, but they're figuring it out.
But still makes no sense.
And Darvin Ham is back on the sidelines with him. But I think the Kevin Porter pickup is very much important because you have two young scorers, two young players that can play when Dame and Giannis can sit. right? Now Dame doesn't have to really go for 1,000 points either at that one guard, right? Dame is an underrated passer, but Dame is not a traditional point guard either. Dame is when I say this, people are gonna probably lose their mind, but people kind of got to listen to when I'm saying this. Dame, Curry, and AI are cut from the same cloth, meaning that AI was billed as a point guard when he came in. They had to move him to the two because he's not a passer. Steph Curry can pass the ball. Dame can pass the ball, but they are so much better when they have someone to pass them the ball, and when the defense is when they don't have to dribble 1,000 times to get a shot up. So they're cut from that cloth. But when they have the ball, it's exciting. It's super exciting. But when the pressure is off them and they can be the recipient of a pass instead of having to pass, yeah, they are so much better. So now Dame can now be passive and get the young guys involved, and it can change the offense. It can change Milwaukee for the better. And Milwaukee did not have to give up Brook or Portis. And I'm over here like, yo, if I'm a team, I'm asking for Bobby Portis or Rip. I don't like is Bobby Portis available? If not, I want to talk to y'all. Like, but
Hey
I don't know.
man, hey teams have been getting away with certain trades. Hey, I just gotta just chalk it up to it is what it is. But I will say, Kevin Porter, his talent, he is extremely talented. Like him and Jalen Green are basically the same player, except you had to choose one. And because of Kevin Porter's again off the court curricular activities, he's not necessarily received that way. If he had that situated, all of that situated, he probably would have had a starting job somewhere or be a great six man because of the capabilities he has on offense. He is explosive. He is athletic. I think he needs to be around a team that has a strong enough leadership or support system from coach to players surrounding him and get the most out of him. I'm not going to say that Ty Lue didn't have that, but
I don't think Ty Lue was focused on that.
Yeah, Ty Lue's like he's testing on different things. I think what Darvin Ham could do is hone in on that. I think that's why he's also there, and he can definitely lean on him to anything that he might have. Like Darvin will probably be there to kind of like offset a lot of those issues and like ease him in. And once he has more of a trust and is on the floor, I don't mind him to continue to kind of just go down that route and continue to play hard and then showcase his true talents.
I agree 110%. It's all up to him though. It's all up to him. I think we can say what we want about Doc, right? Doc, in some ways, is a player's coach. Darvin Ham, in many ways, was a player's coach when he was coaching LA. They have an opportunity to mold two young players into fairly decent talent for the remainder of the time that Giannis and Dame are there. Will they do it? That's the thing. Now, the last trade. And there were many more trades, but we're kind of touching on the kind of the really, really key ones. The Lakers weren't done. They end up getting, and this was a really good pickup for them, Mark Williams from the Charlotte Hornets. And if you don't know about Mark Williams and the way he's been playing this season, man,
they got to steal.
They got to steal. They got to steal. At the risk of sending away two shooters in Cam Reddish and Dalton Knecht, which I thought they were finding a way to keep Dalton Knecht. But
see, The real trade was Cam Reddish. Don't Connect was the person you had to trade to get the deal done.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the cost of doing business. The same way as like I could have gotten Cat without giving up Dante, but I had to put Dante to make the deal happen.
Yeah. You definitely could have got Cat without doing fucking Dante for sure. But Dante,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like
y'all that was like a
like
we could get Randall.
We could have fleeced him. Like we could have fleeced him. I was like, all right, bet. Like
that's my in the draft anyway, bro. They could have just sent all them fucking draft picks away.
Not even matter the draft picks. It's like, yo, man. It's like, yo, bro, just give Randall straight up, man. Like I want to be like OKC and hoard our shit.
Randall straight up would have been crazy. I'd have been like, who is smoking over there in Minnesota, bro? Like.
I'm like, because I already got Rob Dillingham, so like, why need Dante for you if you got Rob Dillingham off the bench? Like, yo, bro, like
they should have flipped Dante, bro. They did Dante real.
They did Dante crazy, man. Like that shit hurt, but that's what the Lakers did.
Dante for sure.
Yeah, but that's what the Lakers did for Mark Williams. And, Mark Williams, though he played 22 games this season, he's averaging 16 and 10. He's a guy who's 7'1", can block shots. I think this was the best start to his season.
9 wingspan, bro.
I mean, it's another crazy thing about it is AD went to management asking for a big. You traded him the weekend, and then you
y'all get the fucking center.
Y'all could have made that deal. Y'all could have made that deal and kept AD.
Bro, that's the sickest part about it, right?
If I'm AD, I'm sick.
Bro, if I'm AD, I'm like, you fucking kidding me?
It's like, nah, I can't wait till that February game.
Are y'all dead ass? Like, I asked for a big and y'all trade me. Now, granted, again, AD, I feel, is better off in Dallas right now.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this more for a personal side to where the lights are not shining the brightest on Dallas, to where if he decides to FMLA in Dallas, kind of like, But like when you do that in LA and you were literally asking to come to LA, you and Clutch Sports do the normal bullshit when y'all don't want to be someplace, and Rich Paul come in like wheeling and dealing, finessing the shit out of teams to be like, hey,
greasing wheels and shit.
Greasing them, yo. But this Mark Williams deal does wonders for a player like Luka, because and you also get younger by a couple months, right? You get younger by a couple months. You now have a big that you can find foundationally build with, right? And again, we go back, we keep going to 2027 for whatever reason. If it doesn't work out, 2027, like 2027, like 2027 is coming for real.
Like Lakers can build, bro.
Yeah, the Lakers can build. The Lakers can be a top team. I don't like the thing that people are saying. I've heard it, and I've even heard it on your as well. Luka could get LeBron another title. I don't think so. I don't think that's in the cards. Though I think the West is too good for that.
West is stacked. It depends. Like it depends what they put around them that made me think, But with this current Lakers squad, I'm like, the best they could do is semifinals, possible conference finals. But outside of that,
conference, they catch somebody lacking for real.
Yeah, but it'd be like, you'd have to be OKC would have to be brain dead to get caught lacking and not make it to the finals, because that's the only team that can see no matter what you do, that's the only team that's stacked up forever currently.
Forever.
That can run the West. Like that's the only team that I could think of, because like you could say the Spurs, I guess, but it's like they're not there yet. You could say Dallas, but it's like I guess, but they're a bit older. The only thing the Lakers got younger, the only older person there is LeBron, so it's just like I guess.
Yeah, but I think overall for the future, this was a good trade deadline for the Los Angeles Lakers. This
Came
was
from
a
a lot of
good
good
trade.
teams.
It was a good trade deadline for a lot of teams.
Cleveland
And
too.
Cleveland too. Like Cleveland get it. Look, let me. What did Cleveland get? Because I didn't.
DeAndre Hunter.
For Karis LeVert, you traded the same player basically. You traded the same player,
Yeah, you did. Okay.
but DeAndre
It's a
Hunter could be
bit taller,
a
plays
bit taller.
more sustainable defense. Is not gonna
Is
hunt his shot.
a 3 and D player, and then will sit there and catch and shoot.
Yeah, he's not gonna hunt his shot or basically go like Levert. Like Levert will hunt for his jumper and get his. You know, he could do it, but it's like, nah. Yeah. So it's just like Cleveland got better this year, especially with that deal. And I'm just like, yo, like, I like a lot of teams got better in terms of the moves they made, and it continues with the idea in terms of how balanced the league is and how stacked these rosters are. Whether you are OKC or you are in Miami, who got better as well, like a lot of teams really benefited from this trade deadline. I think it helped balance the scales a little bit in terms of where teams should be. Stars moving west, great. Just give me the value to make things somewhat even. I mean, this is the part of business. If you're doing business, just make sure that it's been done right. Outside the handshake deal the Lakers and the Mavericks did. I mean, everybody else, did
Bro,
decent.
that shit wasn't a handshake deal. That was a like that. That's what that was. That wasn't no handshake deal. Like that was like, come on, friend. Like no, that was bullshit.
It's like yo, bro. It's like yo, bro. It's like yo, bro, man. I'll let you hold. It's like back in the day we used to trade video games. And it's like yo, man. I'll let you hold GTA. I'll let you hold San Andreas for like Tekken 5. Or I'm like, what? Word? It's like, why would I give away my GTA? It got some scratches on it. It's all good though, but you can still play it. It's still playable.
Right, it's still playable. Yeah, nah.
I'm gonna trade my Tekken for GTA. Get the fuck up out of here!
Trading my Tekken for GTA is sick, bro.
It's sick. Like, nah.
Nah, not at all. But that's exactly what happened.
Like
10% of repayment receipt. I'm over here like, huh? No, I was looking at something. All right,
that's all good.
But,
it's all good, bro.
The NBA All-Star. We said we were going to get into this, and this episode, well, this part of it will obviously drop before All-Star, but NBA All-Star weekend. The new format is a 14 tournament. Each 3 of the teams picked by NBA on the
TNT.
NBA on TNT. The
Chuck, Kenny, and Shaq.
Chuck, Kenny, and Shaq.
Yeah.
And the last team will be picked by Candace Parker. Right. So I have the teams that were currently picked because they picked them tonight.
Yes. Oh. I think Chuck got Team World on that shit. I like Chuck's team.
Yeah, I like Chuck's team, NBA on TNT. Right. So Team Shaq consists of LeBron, Steph, AD, Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, Dame Lillard, James Harden, and Jaylen Brown.
Of course, you got Team Avengers on that side.
Yeah, you got the Team Avengers.
Of course,
I wouldn't see anybody picking no other way, right?
Of course,
Team Chuck has Team World with the Joker, Giannis, Shea, Wemby, Pascal Siakam, Sengun, Kat, and Donovan Mitchell.
That team might win.
That team might win.
That team might win.
And Team Kenny sucks. I
don't know what Kenny was thinking, boy. He was thinking all guards. I'm like, what is a street ball?
Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson, Jaren Jackson Jr., Jalen Williams, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Cade Cunningham, and Tyler Hero.
You got bad guards on your team, dog. Like there's like
Bro, they about to get dogged out, bro. They
about to get dog walked.
Dogged out.
And I hate that for my boy Brunson because
You don't
bro.
deserve that.
Who let him choose that team?
TNT let him choose that team. But with that being said, what do you think of the new All-Star? What do you think of the new All-Star format and the market to get to 40 points? What do you think?
I like it because of the fact that if this is something that can get the players to give a shit about the game, I'm for it. Like the All-Star game over the last few years or so, outside the one in 2020 in Chicago, because that one they had to play because of Kobe, because of obvious reasons. But outside of that, it was just more so like, it's lacking. Like you don't get the umph to watch it anymore. Like back growing up, like you're like, nah, the All-Star games this weekend. Like I don't care if I have to stay late to watch it. Like I'm gonna watch this game. And over the years, it's like the players stopped giving a fuck about it. It's becoming the Pro Bowl. And it's like the players look at it as a chore rather than, a privilege, just to be there. Like Kobe used to take it seriously. Jordan used to take it seriously. And these guys like, I'm here just to the vibe and chill, play a little ball. And, and I'm like,
trash.
I'm like, do you know what guys like Magic, Bird would have done to even make it to the All-Star game and play? Like, the fans deserve to see a good show. Like, they invest a lot of their dollars in your respective cities to see you play the game of basketball. So when you join up for a regular exhibition game, no one's saying play game 7 out there like a game of 21, but like play the game like you would play at a normal rec league. Like you play harder at the Drew League than you do in an NBA All-Star game. Like it's the game of basketball. Like you want to show the game at the highest of levels. You're promoting your art. That's like saying wrestlers don't have to show out at every pay-per-view because like the fans, they're just there to do a job. No, like the fans are a reason why you're in the position that you're in. Like this is basically your thank you to them for putting you in the position that you're in the first place. They're the reason why you have these crazy gargantuan. Yeah, I get paid way too much. Like these crazy ass contracts that are like, damn, like all this for a fucking orange ball. I'm like, nigga, man, if I was getting paid $350 million to play basketball, I would not come into camp out of shape. I would be there early all the fucking time.
Goddamn Superman. I'll come.
Like, bro, I understand Kobe. Like, I had to be in that gym. If you're gonna pay me for a service, that kind of made me live comfortably. Like, I ain't gotta get up early in the morning. My early is I'll just go warm, get some treatment, watch film for 2 hours. Maybe I'll probably, get a couple shots up. I don't mind putting my body through that taxing effort if you're gonna pay me over $300 million to play a game, a game.
Nah, you paying me $350 million over some years to play basketball.
Yeah,
and all I have to do is work out and keep my body right
and show up.
And show up. Yeah, I'm getting more money off the court. The off the court money is my stuff. But you're saying for the team, work out every day, be in game shape, perform. That's it. Don't be injured. Right? Oh yeah, no, I'm Superman. I'm super duper man. But here's the problem with the All-Star game, right? Here's the problem. It used to be pride in being an All-Star because it showed that you were one of the best in the league. Now these players are using All-Star as a way to get more money on their contract, which is why they don't care. All-Star game is now an incentive. It is not an honor anymore to be an All-Star. It's not an honor anymore to be an All-Star.
It's a Pro Bowl, baby.
It's the Pro Bowl. Oh, yeah, I'm a Pro Bowler. So being a Pro Bowler means that you just got more money on your deal.
And them niggas don't even show up to the goddamn events at the NFL every year. That sucks because it's like the NFL is such a beautiful game. And the fans deserve better from that standpoint.
Yeah, the fans deserve way better from that standpoint. But the NBA as well. The NBA fans deserve way better from that standpoint because you have a weekend dedicated to the fans, basically. Yeah, dedicated to you being the 24 best players in the entire league. And you're telling me, it's snubs and all, right? All-star snubs and all. You're telling me that all 24 of you can't play hard for however many minutes? Y'all can't play like it means something? Like the NBA shouldn't have to make it mean something for y'all to play hard in it. Because every league has an all-star game. Do you see the NHL All-Star game? The way they be knocking the shit out of each other?
They go at it. They go after. No. You see how the women in the W go after each other in an All-Star game. That is sad. The fact that the girls are showing out more so than you guys than the men is very telling. And mind you, you make more than they do in a week than they do a season.
Mm-hmm.
You make more in a 5-game session than they do in a season, and you do not come out and play. I'm not saying come out and play like it's game 7 or this and the third, but like come with that same energy you would come at a Drew League or a Rucker Park. The fans deserve that. I would never you would never ask Chris Brown to not come to like South Africa and not perform the way he would perform in California or New York or Belize or all these other places. If they come to see you to do what you do best, it may not be at the greatest of levels, but they want to see you perform like you give a shit. That matters to these people. It matters to the fans. Like you invest so much in basketball for you to come out and not be at your best. And that goes with the entitlement. That goes with why Luka got traded. Like this is why I'm somewhat happy that organizations are taking back control, because for some time now the players have gotten too comfortable with the CBA as it is now, and thinking that because now they got the power that they can hold the owners by the nuts and do whatever they want. Nah, bro. It's like, yo, like you want to give people the best service as possible to show that you care about your craft and you weren't about you about this shit. Like hell, Kendrick said it today in an interview with Ebro. It's like, yo, the reason why he went as hard as he did in the beef with Drake is the fact that people in hip hop ain't got that no more. They don't got that. Like, yo, I want to go get it. Like you have to rely on a 40-year-old man who still wants to get after it. And you can't cultivate that in some 20, 25-year-olds that are approaching their prime, that you could promote and push for them to care enough to come to a game and not just be like, oh, no, it's just another notch in my contract. So when I get my contract deal, I get an extra $30 million because I just showed up.
The problem with that is that the 40-year-old man is part of the problem.
No, he's also part of the problem. He's part of the problem. But at the same token, it's just like you have to find ways to give these people incentives to want to give a fuck again. This is your job. And I think with these organizations and people in management in the NBA, taking that control back, the players do need to be put in their place, because for far too long they've been running the asylum. So it's like, you can't expect fans to be like, why is this not going along? No, yeah, we should do the same thing too. But when they finally do it, you're like, wait, why? You're part of the problem. At some point, like something's got to give. You can't just have your cake and then like when they ask for their share, you're like, nah, you want to hide your hand. You perpetuated what the NBA is today, which gives a lot these younger players like an incentive not to give a fuck. Jordan warned people 20 years ago that this is going to happen. Like you pay people off potential,
and it came to fruition.
So it's just like you can't call Jordan an angry old head when he's like, yo, listen, I don't mind y'all getting y'all paper, but it's like, yo, just know what you know in terms of why they're giving you that paper, so you can basically go out there and show them why you're worth it. Nowadays, they get the paper, they're like, I'll come to work every now and then. Sometimes I'll create a fake injury, and then when you do get hurt, you're out longer than you're supposed to. Hi, Joel Embiid, how you doing? So it's just like
Terrible.
It's terrible. Like there needs to be accountability on the players in the league to give a fuck about playing or doing their jobs, basically. Because me, as a medical claims specialist, you expect me to do my job and close these cases as much as I can on a daily basis for these insurance companies. The same way I expect you to go out there and the money that they pay you to do your job for 48 minutes on a basketball floor. Even if it's for an exhibition game. There are fans that came around from all across the globe just to see you on this stage perform with other all-stars to showcase the 24 best players to play the game. But you don't give a fuck because you're just like, you know what, man? Let's just fake the fluff. Wait till the fourth quarter ends and be like, yeah, we're happy for each other, but you guys are not. Something has to change. Hopefully it does with this all-star game, with this king of the court type shit. But something has to change, and the players have to hold themselves accountable for what they've created.
That's the thing. You're telling a bunch of people who are getting paid almost $400 million to be held accountable. You're telling kids that they need to be held accountable. Like you're telling people who the power was put into their hands to determine what type of product is going to be put out there that they need to be held accountable. And I agree that they should. The problem is when you have, and you know, this is kind of breaking down real life jobs. NBA is a real life job, ladies and gentlemen, but breaking down everyday jobs where they have unions, right? Union protects the worst people sometimes, right? And I'm not one to pocket check or one to be like such and such should be fired or anything like that. But the union protects the worst people sometimes. And the union protects the worst in people sometimes, right? It's there for a reason to make sure management doesn't overstep their bounds, right? And in the NBA, yes, management from time to time have tried to do a big one on these players. But at the same token, the union's not holding the players accountable for why the everything is low right now in the NBA. The players' union, half of those players who run the players' union were around when the NBA was somewhat thriving. And who is talking to these players? Nobody. You know why? Because y'all don't use the 15th, 14th spot on the team to put OGs on the team. You just want people who can shoot from half court and lay the ball up, right? You're not adding leadership to your team. You're not adding leadership to your team. You don't have an old head on your team that can tell you, damn, I never made an all-star, but it was important to me.
It's like 2 or 3 old heads in the league right now. I can count on my hand. One is Taj Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the only one I can think of right now. But Taj Gibson is one. Too. Like, and Jeff Green. Jeff Green's another one. He's still in the league too. And DeAndre Jordan. Like, again, those 3. So DeAndre Jordan, you know, like he's with the Nuggets. And then you got Caleb's another one with Miami. Taj is in Charlotte. You know, and Jefferson Houston is like you used to have at least one for every team. Like the fact that I had to name it on from one hand is bad. Like I should be able to have at least one old head on every like roster that could be an extension. He may not have to play at all, just be in uniform, but just be that extra hand that because the coach can't reach everybody. So somebody in the locker room that, you know, he can afford a suspension. He can afford like, you know, whatever they might give him. Like, but you're gonna need that leader that's gonna basically ride the locker room through some muddy waters. Because you can't expect these kids to navigate it for themselves because you're setting them up for failure. Like, you know, leadership cannot just come from the coach. You have to have somebody that's, you know, in their ear at all times. And I think because of how the league has cut costs and eliminating veterans and the league becoming younger and younger every year, you're eliminating these spots for these young kids, who are not necessarily mentally ready for the league.
Mm-hmm.
but also they're not ready for the responsibilities of what their jobs are supposed to be. And just playing basketball. They don't want to like learn their roles on the team because everybody thinks coming out of high school or college, you had that one, and what that mixtape, you think you hot shit, but when you come to an NBA team, you gotta start all over, baby.
I'm not sure about something. I don't like the fact that
and to basically curb your ego, you're gonna need that. You're gonna need that veteran who's gonna basically let you know, like, yo, if you want to roll, if you want a sustainable future in this league, they treat this like a job. Don't look at it. Oh, I was this in high school. It's like, nah. What my role is right now? My role is to sit on this bench, clap 15 times a quarter. I'm gonna do that for my teammates. And then when I do get an opportunity, I'm gonna go out there, showcase my skills, and if they, like me, I'm gonna continue to go further and further and further with my career until they see me as a more reliable option. So when you do get that next contract, especially as a rookie, all you're doing within that first year, some change, is fighting for that next contract. However, the next contract will be is how you set your life up. And then if you want to continue with the NBA, if you're good enough, that's how you build your rapport. That's how you get your, you accrue enough experience. So when you become an old head, you got your pension because you did everything that you did was right to stay in the league. Like, that's why Udonis Haslam was there for like 55 years on the bench.
55 years. 56, he said. 56, he said.
Like 56 years on the bench.
Going back to All-Star Weekend, the thing about it is All-Star Weekend is dead.
It is.
All-Star Weekend is dead. It is dead.
Sad.
It's been dead a long time. And people like a Dwight Howard, like a like Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine, they've tried to bring back the three-point contest. The dunk contest. Just hasn't happened, right? Because the dunk contest is a bunch of they are NBA players except Mac McClung and everything else, but like the three-point contest participants have not even been announced. It is. We are recording this on a Thursday night. And this is dropping on a Monday. So this is dropping post All-Star. But you are basically telling us, hey, it don't really matter. Y'all just pay attention to watch and see what happens. The skills challenge people has not even been announced yet. So what is going on? But you want to announce this bum-ass dunk contest.
Okay, let's put it like this.
The NBA needs something, bro. Like, the NBA got to do something. And it's on Adam Silver, too, because Adam Silver has let that go far too long. And as much shit as we give Stern when he did what he had to do, I get why he had to put. He said, "All right, y'all doing too much," because he knew like certain people were gonna basically take advantage. He didn't want people to take advantage. And now under Silver, they've taken advantage. The balance is completely on that side. And they're trying to get it back. Let's hope the league will do more of that to kind of keep the balance because it's unbalanced in terms of the chain of power between the NBA players and the league itself and the organization. So they have to be like the pendulum has to swing back somewhere close to the middle because since 2010 basically where everything kind of like really, 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 really shifted to the player side. It's been hard to basically swing it back. Kevin Durant basically threw the door hinges off when he went to the Warriors to do whatever he wanted to do. They're just like, damn, these players can do whatever the fuck they want now. Like LeBron's like, all right, LeBron was one, but Kevin, all right now, Kevin, like, all right, after this, no more. But it's like, oh, they're still doing it. And Kevin went to Brooklyn and all this kind of stuff. It's just like, and then how these players are moving. The James Harden, how he basically left Brooklyn to go to Philly. He had to leave Philly to go to LA. Like at some point, the league had to say, like, all right, man, enough's enough. Y'all already attended the All-Star game. Y'all don't care about that. Y'all basically complaining about back-to-backs. Y'all say practice is too long. And it's like, it's funny because when Silver went on, I think it was Colin Cowherd's show and talked about the stats, saying the fact that minutes have no correlation in terms of how injuries happen, and saying the fact that inactivity might be the reason why a lot of these injuries happen. This is almost just like, it seems like you took what Pop used to do. Right? So it seems like you took what Pop used to do in terms of like, load management and completely, again, unbalanced everything. You made it completely not about the game. When Pop used to do it because his guys were actually old and had to preserve them. You got guys that are in their primes.
Shit, even when they wasn't old, the thing was, hey, we have won 700 games this season, and you know what? I think you guys deserve
a rest.
We're about to play the Phoenix Suns, and then we're about to play the Los Angeles Lakers. We might play the Utah Jazz. We might play one of these teams that's trying to knock us out the playoffs. So before we get there, I'm going to give you about a good, within the last 10 games, I'll give you a couple games in there, here and there to rest. Like if we're playing like the Bobcats, you know what?
So you ain't gotta play. I'll play third string. He's like, yeah, this happens.
If we're playing the Bobcats in San Antonio,
exactly. Like, yeah, we're good. But everybody else took that shit. It's like, oh, he's not playing tonight, because he needed rest. Is on the third. I'm like, no, like, yo, you completely took the formula that Pop tried to do to preserve his guys later in the season and using it all points of the season and fuck the whole algorithm up. And then now when it comes to All-Star game,
the algorithm.
And then now when it comes to All-Star game, it's like, I don't want to play. I don't want to go full force in the All-Star games in the third because, I'm like, you're resting half the time anyway, God damn it. Like, you're resting half the goddamn time.
Y'all well rested. Y'all really well rested. I don't want to play full force.
And all of that, they gave you extra days after the All-Star break to recuperate. So what more do you want?
Bro,
they bent over backwards and frontwards for y'all.
They got 2 weeks off. The back-to-backs have been managed to where it's not what it used to be. Like
y'all don't practice like that anymore either.
You don't practice. Y'all have your own trainers that y'all train with. Real ditzy stuff. Like, come on, like it is. Listen.
The players are part of the problem too. Like,
I don't expect the NBA Finals when I'm looking at the All-Star game.
I'm not
a heavily competitive pickup game for sure, but I don't expect the NBA Finals. And for whatever reason, the NBA players think that's what people are expecting. No, care about the game because the game was cared about. You guys are getting paid $1 billion to care about the game, and the reason why you're getting paid them $1 billion is because of the fans. Give the fans something to cheer for.
You can tell people who don't love the game and people who really love the game. Like, you can tell like who's really about hooping and who's about the check, because the check is the quickest way to whatever, whether you're the best player on the team or a bum on the bench. Because if these niggas really cared, like, LaMelo Ball would not have to rely on just popularity alone on a trash-ass Hornets team just to make the All-Star game. He would actually have to be great for the Hornets to actually merit why the fans are voting for him to get to the All-Star game. Like, the players at some point have to realize and at the same time find ways to reconnect themselves to the game, because the money is not enough anymore. Why are you in the NBA? If you're in the NBA just to be a name and to make money and not play, then bruh, like, you're just wasting everybody else's time. You're wasting fans' time to invest in you, which is why they're not tuning in to these games or wanting to tune in to an all-star game. You can't be an all-star and say, yo, I'm just here just to vibe and just, take it light on an easy weekend. Then don't fucking come. Trae Young would love to come to the all-star game since he got snubbed. Norman Powell would love to take your spot because you don't want to take it seriously. Like, I could fuck up Josh Hart's, vacation weekend to go, touch some sand. He would deserve to come to an all-star game because he takes the game seriously. Like, some of these stars got to learn how to take the game seriously again. And I think, like, at some point, like, I hope with what happened with Luka getting traded the way he did in the manner that he did, it wakes up a lot of these stars because it's like, yo, like, y'all not, it ain't sweet like that no more. Like, y'all had y'all years where y'all got away with murder. Now it's time to recoup some of that. Like, nah, like, the league is like, nah, we want our get back. This is our time now.
Yep, and honestly, I think that's where we're gonna end it. We gotta end it there, but
boom.
Shout outs to Backstage Brawl every Sunday, 3:30, live on the Sports Hit List on Facebook and on their YouTube. Check them out. Check out the family over there. Shout out to the Euro Sports Show every other week, dropping. We dropped our Super Bowl episode, so by when this drops, you should listen and see the Super Bowl results. Who you got winning the Super Bowl?
I got the Chiefs. I'm not picking the Eagles. Listen,
yeah, because the Eagles don't pay the refs, so I get it.
Yeah. Listen, as an NFC East rival, I'm not picking the damn Eagles. I mean,
listen. I want this for Saquon. I want
one for Saquon so bad, but I'm just like, you know what, man? I'm a Drew McIntyre myself and say I'm the biggest hater, man. Fuck the Eagles. I'll have the Chiefs with it. Like, Saquon, I love you, but listen, I can't get hurt like this year. Like, you going to the op and winning a chip, I can't take that. I got Juan Soto coming to, even though he's closer to me now and coming to Queens as a Met. Listen, I can't get burned twice in the same year, dog. Nah, I'm good.
Hey, Mets almost made it to the World Series too last year.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, yo, I'm saying, like, yo,
you already wear blue and orange. You already wear blue and orange. You might as well just go over to Citi Field and do your big one over there, bro.
Shit, nah, man.
It's cheaper to be at Citi Field too.
You're right. But the hot dog is better in October at Yankee Stadium.
That's crazy, but
hey, because the best don't make it that far in October.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they
don't. Sometimes they don't.
But we're gonna have to see about that. New York sports is always in a funny place. But again, shout out to all the shows on the network: Run the Break podcast, Tavius Tea Time, the Your Sports Show, and the Dog Days of Baseball. Dog Days of Baseball coming back really soon with us just talking about baseball season revving up. Tavius Tea Time is always a good time. That will always pop up in the Your Sports Show, just a conglomeration of everything and us. All your basketball needs at the Run the Break podcast. I promise you guys, this will be uploaded to the Run the Break podcast YouTube instead of the Your Sports Show one. So and you guys don't got to search and go through everything. All our social medias will be Run the Break, guaranteed.
Yes,
that will all get done. So for the People's Champ Randy, it's your boy the Wise Brother, aka Big Baby, signing off. We will see y'all soon.
Deuces, everybody. See you on the flip side. Don't forget to run it.